Hello and welcome. This is Vaughn Liddycote, the CEO of Global Business Formula and the co-founder of the Achievement Club. Today I have a very special lesson that is close to my heart. I want to share with you one of the greatest secrets that I've personally ever learned or discovered in my 15 plus year of personal development and self-growth. This is really the catalyst that changed everything for me because, if you were a lot like me, and I feel that I'm a lot like you, I went through this big battle and this struggle that when I was in my early teenage years that I just didn't like myself. I suffered from low self-esteem and I really didn't believe in myself. Although I always knew that there was a bigger dream in my heart. Perhaps you felt that way as well. And perhaps you've struggled before, like you've tried the diets to lose the weight and it hasn't gotten there. You've tried the business, or you've tried to make those sales and you haven't quite made the income that you feel you deserve. Perhaps you keep having the same relationships day in and day out. Whether that's a family member that gets on your nerves, or it's a loved one, or you just don't have the right partner in your life to build the family that you've always dreamed of. Well, you know what? I feel I'm a lot like you. I've had the same challenges and the same problems, and we're all fundamentally the same. And in this photo, you'll see I'm standing here with my mentor and coach Bob Proctor. And when I was 19 years old, I made the wise move of hiring him as my coach. And I learned from him from 13 months. And subsequently, I met him in later years and got to actually work for one of his companies and got to see how the inner circle sort of works. And man, did I learn a lot. But I want to share the lesson that not only he teaches from who he learned from in his mentorship with and what I teach to all my clients, but I truly believe this is the essence of how we're going to improve our results in life. There's a great saying, you must know thyself. If you know thyself, you are going to have the power and the ability to be able to change any result you want. Now, our biggest problem is we go from the outer world. We try to change what's on the external, not going internal. We've got to know what the cause of the problem is, not the effect. You see, everything in your life is a result, and that result has a cause to it. Now, the problem is we think that if we're not earning the money, that the money is the cause of the problem. That's not true at all. It's an internal mechanism. That's the same with relationships. If we have relationship problems, you have to understand that it's not the other person as much as we'd like to think it is. There's an internal dialogue going wrong. And if we're not the ideal weight we want to be, or the business isn't where we want to be, or we're not living the life to our optimum and fullest, it all comes down to one simple thing. It is the idea that you're engaged with. Nothing more, nothing less. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, I'm going to share with you a diagram right now that was created by a gentleman named Dr. Thurman Fleet in San Antonio, Texas. He founded the concept therapy movement in the 30s. And what he came up with was an image that represents the mind and how we think. This is incredibly powerful and one of the simplest diagrams you can understand, yet its effect is far-reaching. This works for CEO, corporate executives, to preschool children. It's so simple to understand, yet the mind is widely misunderstood. You see, your brain is not the mind any more than the nail or your foot is. Mind is an activity. Everything you do in your life happens because of how you tap in and use and direct your mind. Now, the brain is an electronic switching station. There's a power that flows to and through you, and you can direct it any way you choose by the thoughts that you engage in. And you do choose your thoughts. And that's what we're going to deal with today. I'm going to show you how you can change your thoughts and you can change any result. And it's so exciting because to me, my friend, this is the power, this is the liberation that you've been waiting for, and it's what's going to set you free to live the life that you deserve and your destiny. So here we go. Here's the diagram. Get your pen and paper ready. Now I want you to let the stick man represent how you think. The circle represents your head. The top half of the line represents where you think, and everything under that represents your results in life manifested through your body, which is the physical manifestation of the thoughts you produce. Now, if we look up in the top half, in the outer world, you have your touch, taste, hearing, sight, and your smell. We have our senses, which in the natural world are what we need to survive. It's how we can protect ourselves. The problem is we're trained to live in this world. We're trained to look at the report card, and that represents where you're at. Look at the sales sheet, and that represents your income. That represents where you are. Where those things only represented a moment in time. It does not represent your potential, your power, your capability. And the problem is that because in our conscious mind, we can accept or reject any idea that we get, we are taught from a young age to accept the bad and reject the good. And this is a problem. And a simple test for yourself is, it's quite easy. When somebody gives you a compliment, do you immediately accept it or do you reject it? Do you rationalize with it, which is rationaling lies to the mind? Do you kick it aside and think, no. Or you sort of reduce it or play it down? Or do you accept it and go, thank you, yes, I actually believe that? See, that's a very quick example of the sort of conditioning that's there. Now, our conscious mind is where our free will lies. And this is where you have the ability to think any thought you choose. That's your power. It's the only thing that separates you from the house cat. It's this ability to think what you want to think. Now, it's a great saying that to think what you want to think regardless of appearances is true power. And it absolutely is. Now, we're going to get onto how we change these thoughts. But in the meantime, let's go into understand that in our conscious mind, we have our mental powers, which is on the right-hand side. RE stands for reasoning faculty. This is where we can think, we can formulate thoughts together which create ideas, which is what that little cloud represents. Now, when we create an idea and we emotionally attach it, it creates a paradigm. Now, in our subconscious mind is where our paradigms lie. Now, paradigm is nothing more than a group of habits. It's where we uncritically think, we go about our day automatically engaged in habits we don't give any conscious thought to. So for example, you tie your shoelace. That is an unconscious habit. You drive a car. Well, when you first learned, it was all hands on sticks and you were trying to make the indicators work. That is a conscious thought. When it becomes unconscious, you don't give any thought to it. In fact, when you drive, you probably go on thought trips. You probably think about ideas. You probably go on the phone. You might talk to people. You might listen to the radio and have a conversation. That represents subconscious conditioning. The way we interact with people is all habitual. The way you run your business is habitual. The way you run any sales industry is habitual. The way you even create a result for losing weight is habitual. And this is the fight that we go between. We have this habitual conditioning, yet in our conscious mind where we think, we get engaged in ideas, man, I want that. The problem is, the actions don't speak to what we truly want. Because if we look at the bottom half here, the body, well, the body is the only thing that represents what goes on in our mind, and that is what creates our results. So follow me with here on the left-hand side, we have the thought, feeling, and actions. The thoughts produce a feeling, the feelings produce an action, the actions are produced in the only way we can see in the material world, through the body, and that forms what we call our results. Now, like I said earlier, our problem is we try to focus on changing the result without going to the cause of the result. So the fact that you might be overweight, the fact you may not have the money or the business you want, or you may be not on the career path you choose or in the relationship you want, they are all a result and a manifestation of the thoughts you're engaged in. And I said earlier, we'd talk about that. Now, we can, using our reasoning faculty, think anything we want to think. The question is, are you thinking what you want or what other people told you to think? Are you truly creating your own ideas or getting inspiration from good books or hanging around the right environment to give you better, more powerful, emotive ideas to engage your life? Because the chances are you aren't. And that's why you're watching this video. There's something more inside you that you want. Now, when we look at the mental powers we have, the fact that you can think what you want is one of the greatest powers you have when you claim it. How do we claim it though, and how do we stick to it? Well, that's the second one on the right-hand column, willpower. The will is like a magnifying glass. You can concentrate on anything you want to think about. Now, most people have an underdeveloped willpower, and most people say, I have a weak willpower, thus creating more of the same. But you can strengthen the willpower through meditation or through focusing once a day. 15 minutes a day, you just block out some time and you focus on a dot on the wall. You try to aim for 15 minutes, you probably get 30 seconds at first. But the point is, you can develop this strength and you can get it to a point where you can really key in on an idea. And that's the point you need to get to to really start shifting the paradigm. Because to understand one thing about changing a result, if results are a reflection of subconscious conditioning, the way it became subconscious and conditioned was over a period of time. It became a new idea fixed from repetition. You kept repeating the habit or the idea again and again and again, and it soon became fixed. And so therefore, to change the way you interact in a relationship, to change the outcome in your finances, it stands to reason you're going to have do new activities. Don't try to do too many. Do one new activity in the next 30 days, but use your willpower to focus in on that one new habit. Now, here's one of the coolest things about the way we can think. If we look at perception, which is the third one down on the mental powers, you can choose to think anything you want about your life. You can choose to look at this exercise and think, man, this guy's he's going on. This is a simple diagram. I really want to know why aren't I earning the money I'm earning? Well, the simple fact is you're not looking at life the way I'm looking at it. And perspective is everything. You know, the way you look at a situation is going to determine how you feel about it, not the other way around. You see, what makes a situation good? It's the way you look at it. It's your attitude towards life. And I'm not saying the whole time to glaze over things. You're not going to always be able to be 100% positive, and that's not what this is really about. This is about recognizing that you have the power to look at things the way that you choose to look at them. That, my friend, is the most powerful thing you possess. If you can't get that straight, I'm afraid you're probably going to lose, because you know what? When the sales are low, when clients walk out on you, when your relationship falls apart, when your health isn't good, when you really are feeling overwhelmed, it's your ability to think a certain way that's going to pull you out of that. And sure, you can have friends help you for a little bit, you can have loved ones help you, but unfortunately it's up to you. Your perception is going to help you flip that. So there's a quick thing you can do. The next time something bad happens, instead of accepting the bad and rejecting the good, you flip it and you think, you know what? What's good about this? Just ask, what's good? What if this good thing happened to me? And then accept that idea. That's the way we need to live. Now, the fourth one down is imagination. And imagination's keying into a vision in life. What are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? Your vision starts in the imagination. As Walt Disney would do, he would imagineer. You've got to imagineer a better life. If you don't understand that you can have a better life, if you don't really believe that, if you can't imagine it, there's no point having a good willpower, because you need the willpower to focus on this vision daily, all the time. You need to be living it, breathing it, of it. Your reasoning faculty allows you to think these thoughts to begin with, and your imagination taps you into something beyond your current results. So start to play with the idea, what do you want? What do you seriously want? Not what do you think you want, what do you actually want? And not what you think you can get. These are some very fundamental differences. One of the last two mental powers you possess is memory, which you have an infinite memory. And my studies on the neurological science of the brain, I've read a few books, I've gone to the seminars, I've listened to the workshops and programs by the leading neuroscientists in this field. They all seem to concur at this point in time that we have an infinite memory. The problem is we have weak, undeveloped memories. So Harry Lorraine and Jerry Lucas have a book called The Memory Book. And I highly recommend you read it if you want to learn how to speak properly, if you want to learn how to memorize numbers or grocery lists. It's an amazing book. I highly recommend you read it to develop that part of you. The last mental power you have is intuition. Now, this is what taps you in to something beyond yourself. You see, if you truly believe that you don't have the power right now to think brand new ideas about what you want from your life, well, you know what? I know you have a hunch about what you need to do, don't you? You know there is something bigger out there for you. There is something so grabbing on the inside. There is for everyone. Well, that's because we all have a purpose in life. And I truly believe, we all have a greater calling. We all have something bigger that we can aspire to. And when you tap into your intuition, that's God's voice telling you where to go. Now, the problem is most people are waiting for a neon sign before they decide what they want. I'm telling you right now, you know what you need to do. You need to have the courage to step up and do it. Now, if you pay attention to what we did today, your reasoning ability, the way you could think about this subject, The way that you could take an idea, and if you focus on it long enough and you start doing it, you will start to feel different and change the paradigms or the habits you operate with, and that will be reflected in your actions. Your actions repeated over time change your results, and that is how you develop a business. That is how you double your business. That's how you double your happiness. That's how you have a better friendship, a better relationship with yourself. Because when I was in my early teenage years, I probably had the 80-20 rule backwards. 80% of my time, I was worried, I was anxious, I was nervous. What do people think of me? And now it's the other way around. Very, very, very small percentage of my time is worried with that. I feel good. I'm positive. I'm happy. I love where I'm going. I meet great people. I truly believe I can create what I want in life, and I'm doing it. And I want the same for you. And this is the concept that changed it all for me. And I'm blessed and grateful every day for meeting Bob Proctor, for hiring him, and for him teaching me this lesson. And I'd recommend you go through this again. The biggest takeaways over the next 30 days, you're going to want to focus on one habit that you're going to change. And that's it. You're going to understand this concept, and you're going to start to say the mantra that I am responsible for the way I think, I am responsible for the way I feel, and I'm responsible for every single result that I get. And if you accept that and you start to change the way you look at life and using your perception, you start to focus on what you want using your willpower, you start to imagine that you can have a better life, and you start to listen to that voice inside and act on it, I truly believe you'll never make a mistake going in the direction of your dreams. You might have failings, but that's all lessons if you look at it the right way. This is Vaughn Liddycoat. I've truly enjoyed sharing this message with you today, and I want to thank you for your time. Please feel free to reach out to me. I'd love you to subscribe to my future trainings, and in the meantime, make sure you serve from your heart and always be grateful.